the need for permaculture is not only increasing, it's accelerating. So is the inquiry. The inquiry about permaculture. I'm sure many of you here have been asked, what is permaculture? How does it work? It's something we're asked all the time, and we're obliged to answer that inquiry. And that is also increasing and accelerating. The inquiry is increasing. And how does permaculture work in dry lands? And does it work in dry lands and in arid landscapes? And of course, it is proven that it does work. In fact, in dry lands, the results are more obvious in the more harsh a landscape, in a landscape which is really degraded, where things are in real trouble, where people are in real trouble. The results stand out. They prove the system works. It's very obvious. And it's where we enjoy working, where we get those results. So you have to ask, what do we need to change these destructive systems that are all around us? What do we need to do? And what can be achieved? Education is something that is obviously needed. People need a better education in these systems. They also need demonstration. People are always asking, where can I get educated? Where can I see this working? Are there demonstration sites we can look at? So those are strategies of expansion that we need to engage in. We need to create more education. There's a need for it. There's an inquiry for it. There's a need for more demonstration. There's a greater inquiry, an accelerating inquiry. It's all accelerating. The movement really has never been able to keep up with those inquiries. We don't have to go knocking on doors that don't want to open too much, because we can't really keep up with the inquiries that are coming in our direction. When we talk about demonstration and setting up demonstration sites, really the main themes that we approach with are the patterns of water and water harvesting, the theme of this conference. Access and access patterns, which also lead to water harvesting. Multi-functions of access nearly always include the hard surface runoff. And we've seen some great figures today. Some figures that would shock most people here in Oman, how much runoff occurs from the area of the city in relation to water use. It's more than 4 times the average use per person per day that is actually potentially water that could be captured as runoff. And those figures go worldwide. Structures, water access structures are often taught as a mainframe of approach. And the first things you look at when you approach design to set up a demonstration. Structures also, obviously, structures for water, for human habitat, runoff water, capture water, create wastewater. All of these we can design. All of these we can design, instead of being problems, they can be solutions. They can extend our systems and give people good, sensible education. So it's linked back to water as a life-giving element. Water, where there's water, there's life, is an Arabic saying of this region. Sites for demonstration need to be appropriate. Appropriate in that in any region that you set up a demonstration site, appropriate size of land as used by local people, appropriate land quality. You don't need exceptionally good land, better than most people, and you don't need exceptionally poor land, less than most people are using. It's really probably best to work with the average that most people in the area have to deal with. Even urban demonstration, rural demonstration, broadacre demonstration. We're hearing here talks from the broadest areas to the urban areas, from the micro to the macro design systems, we appear, it seems, to have it covered with pretty good design, and all of this can be included in demonstration sites. So appropriateness of site to area for demonstration. So how do we get this extended out there? In the modern information age, connections mostly are digital through the web, through the internet, through websites. This is where most people find their connections. It's probably how most of you arrived here. It is the modern communication system. It's actually the social network of most of the younger people today. Some of my young students tell me they can't remember life without a laptop. Now, that is where we have tried to concentrate our efforts and share that information with people. The ethics of permaculture being earth care, land care, and return of surplus. The Permaculture Research Institute of Australia and our other institutes around the world, we've tried to create a website that informs people good news, bad news, and a little bit of humour and comedy. This gentleman running the live stream and taking our photographs here is one of our team members who really helps us with those systems. We've originally, trying to facilitate the inquiry, created a basic website forum so that people could ask each other questions. The technology has advanced beyond that, and it went to a stage where we realised that we needed to create a purpose-built software so that we could showcase permaculture around the world, permaculture skills in people skills, and people's locations worldwide, and permaculture project sites. So we launched a website, a global website for permaculture. We put that effort and that return of surplus economy into that system so that we could connect the networks of permaculture, the people of permaculture, the projects of permaculture, so that it could be more understood what can be achieved, how quick we can demonstrate in appropriate lands, appropriate situations, what can be done, and expand as quickly as possible. That's freely available. We give that to the world. And all we're really trying to do is facilitate what seems to be required. Hopefully we're getting that job done, and it doesn't have to be repeated. It's something that anybody can join, and they can help us. We're very open for other permaculture organisations and global groups to contribute so that we can all increase the exposure, increase the showcasing, find each other quickly, find the skills. It is obvious there is a deficiency as the inquiry increases. We have to try and keep up with the speed of increase of inquiry and need. Hopefully we get to a point where we're in front of it. So we have tried to set up a situation of helping people create a demonstration site that within 3 years is established to a stage where it demonstrates on the ground the needs locally that can be locally achieved by the local people with their economic capability. Not something that's unachievable, something that works within a local region at a local economic level. After, hopefully within 3 years, that's quite a big expectation, but if we work at it, we can do that. Within 3 years, a demonstration site is something that local people can take ownership of. They can be proud of. They want to see it continue. And they can then outreach to larger systems and broader areas, as we've seen with the previous speaker, Tony's work, going out over a very broad area, and even working back into urban areas, which are also obviously expanding. Urbanisation is increasing exponentially. Within 3 years also, we are setting up systems that are self-funded. So they're self-funding through the previous inquiries. There is such an inquiry of the need for education, but there's also another situation that's emerged. People are coming to us wanting to be trained as quickly as possible. They're wanting to be of service to the larger world. They're wanting to go into a permaculture career of service to the world, and they want that experience as quickly as possible. The information age has made it obvious that we need a huge number of permaculture troops to get out there and win this battle that we know we can win against the collapsing systems that are all around us. So the need to be trained and get some experience in real sites, not just first world or developed country situations where these demonstration sites, education centres are more like a business plan. They actually can be quite profitable and can link their profits to partnering sites in similar locations in developing countries. But there is a great inquiry for people to gain their educational experience in sites that are very real world, where real issues are right in front of people. This is not a world of privilege. This is a world where permaculture is a necessity. So there is a great inquiry for people to experience that, and they are prepared. We've put this to the test. Students are prepared to pay extra for that experience in a relative site, and that extra will fund those sites to continue and develop. So it's a self-funding mechanism by requirement of experiential teaching as a contribution, an initial contribution as you engage in the system, so that you can become potentially in service to the world. And that is a very unusual situation. It's almost like a new phenomena that not just courses, design courses, where you get the initial transformational type experience of understanding that there's a whole different way you can see the world by design, but also to actually move into an internship situation where you engage physically on the ground and get your experience fast-tracked into an actual practical application to help other people. So self-funding aid, self-funding demonstration sites, education centres are where we are actually concentrating our efforts right now, so that we can actually move the situation faster and faster. I think that's the main concern of most of us. How do we move quicker? How do we get this job done as soon as possible? How do we speed up the process? And I think we feel a lot happier if we can achieve that.